3 a.m.
Good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you're listening to us from, straight from the 909. It's Mark, Andre, myself, Isaiah, and together.
That's hip-hop.
Friendly reminder to please like and subscribe. Today we're discussing a perfect storm of a West Coast embodied in one MC, and that's Murs. The former living legend who stands out with his versatile style and authentic storytelling. He's known for his thoughtful lyricism, vivid storytelling, and engaging narratives that touch on a personal experience, social issues, and life reflections. In terms of style, Murs embodies a smooth and conversational flow that feels incredibly genuine. His delivery often feels like a heartfelt conversation with his audience, drawing them into this intricate storytelling that relates on multiple themes. So I chose Murs today because I was going through the YouTube, like, just rabbit hole, and I stumbled upon this album, and it just, like, took me back to just, like, the early 2000s, just, like, the raw underground hip hop. And
it's just time traveled real quick.
Especially with him, when his collab with 9th Wonder, like, this album to me, like, solidified both of them on just individually, and being like a mark and making their place in hip hop. And I felt like for 9th Wonder, he leveled up on these beats. And there was always this myth about him doing it through Fruity Loops. And it's like, you're hearing these beats and you're just like, God damn.
It's not possible.
How?
Right. It's not possible.
And then Murs' style, he changed it up on this album. He went from, talking about like world domination, about kick flips and stuff, to
stories of the streets.
Yeah, to getting more serious, to going more in depth, introspective even. So, and I think the thing that lacked for Murs previous was the consistency factor with the producer. And here you have 9th Wonder pretty much carrying it the whole way.
And it's just his house, man. It's excellent.
Yeah, and it was a really great album. There's some tracks on here that are very memorable, and I think this one is classic in his discography, and it did really well in the underground scene. A lot of people in the underground recognized it as being an incredible album. It was released March 23rd, 2004 by Definitive Jux. The album is a collaborative work between Murs and 9th Wonder, making it their first joint project. And it just showcases Murs' evolution as an artist, cementing his status as an introspective and emotionally resonant rapper with a unique voice. On this track, on this album, 9th also doesn't sample as much. It was said that he sampled his own stuff. So stuff that he was doing, he was sampling, which is kind of crazy.
And it's fucking great.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
As introspective as you can get.
It's so good.
Yeah. Your guys' experience with Murs, I'll start with you, Mark, on just, how'd you come across Murs?
Couldn't get away from him. Everyone was running their yap about him in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Living Legends. Living Legends was a group at the time where they had excellent marketing, and coupled with that was a group of excellent lyricists, him, Sunspot Johns, all them cats. And when it came time for Murs to come around with solo efforts, I'd like to challenge anyone in the mid 2000s that could be a better storyteller. We're going to get a lot into his great characteristics that he has, which is excellent storytelling, especially with this album, especially with 316 itself. And then going even further, I want to challenge any West Coaster during this time in the mid 2000s that had a better run from Murs 316 all the way to Murs for President. That 3-album effort in between with Murray's Revenge in the middle.
It's consistency.
I don't think anyone topped that as a solo effort on the West Coast. At this point too, we needed an answer as well to this. I think he was the West Coast answer to our East Coast fixation, because the matter is that what he what he did end up doing in lyricism that the East Coasters would end up doing around this time, he made up for vivid storytelling and still had that independent feel.
Yeah,
that I felt really attracted to at the time, and I didn't really want to give Murs a shot, to be honest, in the beginning. But then, like, because everyone ran their yap, like, dude, during this time,
he was hype. He wasn't hype. He just everybody knew who he was.
I like the fact that you mentioned when you said let's go back to the 2008s or let's go back to the 2000s when you're talking about this, because this is the land of less opinions. This is the land of less podcasts. This is an era where the ultimate opinion comes through accredited people. And you're only going to get the best value from those opinions because they're accredited people, journalists, people actually running their own articles, actually people doing the work, etc. So you actually have these valid opinions of like, dude, Murs is dope. That ends up going to the people listening as well. And then we end up hearing it by default, by inevitable. It's inevitable. It would be inevitable, and
supreme example of word of mouth.
And then, along with his excellent marketing, you couldn't get away from seeing Murray's Revenge, the Murray's Revenge poster, or the 316 poster, or Murs itself, dude. Yeah, I even at the end of Rock the Bells 07. Right when Murray's Revenge is coming out. I think post that, I think it was Rock the Bells 08, but I ended up going Murs' booth and getting the Murs is better than your favorite rapper shirt. Yeah. And so I was a huge fan off the jump with Murs. I liked his style, and it was we were craving a West Coast answer to this underground hip hop scene, and Murs during that time in the mid 2000s was it.
In a similar vein, just like Mark, just everyone was talking about him. You can't really avoid Murs, and it's like a name that echoed all, especially in the Pomona areas and just in our regional area. Man, he's like perfect for what the underground scene was looking for. And then essentially, man, Murray's Revenge was like kind of where I started, and then Murs for President was like, I just remember the marketing. And it's just like at the time, marketing was something you thought would be on a higher scale. And what Murs was doing, it was on a grounded scale that it was really, really innovative. So when you saw Murs pulling it off, it was like, man, it inspired us on our level to move just like him, But overall, man, I just always thought of him same deal. It's just, he's like the homie and we all love him. Yeah. So he can just tell us stories on the microphone. And I feel like that's his technique. Right, like his storytelling and who he is as an individual is, in fact, his technique. And the idea that 9th loves to work with him, to me, echoes the idea that he's a worthy sound in this industry. You can't walk away from Murs, essentially. And I got to meet him too. So Happiness of Pursuit. I finally got to meet him this year. And the first thing I said was, I never met you before. Shook his hand, and I didn't know what to say after that. I was like, and I just stood to the side. But shout out to Murs, man. But I feel like he's just essentially the wise sage telling stories of his streets, and we all relate to it.
That's why I was saying, like, I think he is the perfect storm for West Coast because he was like raised in LA and everything, but then he had a short stint, I think like probably 3 or 4 years where he was in the Valley, right? So you got to hang out with like white kids and stuff, as he would say. But then he went also to the Bay. I mean, I don't know an MC who's been in all 3 spots of California like that and who can really say like they kind of know each part of like California in that way.
Neutral space almost. Like he almost has the perfect amount of experience.
He's like a Pac, but he's also like Souls of Mischief in a weird way. Like he's kind of this blend of all of it. Like he's not exactly one or the other. He's kind of like all of it in one. So he has that mix to him.
The ultimate Californian hip hopper.
Yeah, he's just Jesus. He just looks like hip hop Jesus.
Just traveled like him or what? Right. Like, I went to the known reaches of the Oakland.
The Oaklands.
He says that the one that could relate that he related to most was DJ Quick. I guess as far as like who spoke about the truth that he lived. So he would hear gangster rap and stuff like that, and he would speak to some things, but it wasn't really his truth, he would say. Same with the backpack rappers thing. Like he related to it in some senses, but it wasn't him. So, but he said that DJ Quick though spoke a little bit more in tune to like pretty much his style or his way of life, more or less. You know, which is, I think, kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And DJ Quick, you know, talks about real life experiences, and talks about women, just talks about life, you know, homies, everything like that. So, I didn't get to meet him. I was just like, I didn't really know what to say or anything like that, but I was there too as well.
He was right behind you.
Yeah, he was basically like, just
I turned my head and Murs is right here. Like, oh shit.
He's like arm's distance and whatever. But
so he's all like,
you know, it's kind of one of those things.
turn.
It's just like, I'm just gonna let, you know, do his thing, like, you know, and just kind of respect his space. But it was cool to still be in the circle, like as far as being there in the scene, like just, you know, vibing.
yeah, he's mad humble, man. He was just walking around, just floating, man.
Yeah.
Good dude.
It was dope.
Good dude, man. And just real quick, all of his music, even the stuff from the past, all the way till today, he's still guaranteed giving you the quality. Like he's really going for it. So yeah, give it some love, man. Iliad is Dead is a good one. I was just playing that a little bit earlier. Yeah, that's from 2019. That's a really good one. He has a lot of projects, man. Check him out. His discography is worth every listen, man.
Yeah, he's been through a lot of different, like a lot of things too. Like I know he lost a kid prematurely. I know he's been through a divorce. He's been through some stuff.
Real life shit. Yeah. Real life shit. Put it on the mic.
Yeah. And he's spoken about that. But the consistency thing is like what's really dope is that he's still putting out work. He's still out there like on the grounds. Like he's still cultivating, like, you know, working on. I think he was the man that put together Pay Dues, if I'm not mistaken. But he was the main one that was leading that. You know, which I think
he was hosting it too.
Yeah,
he was the MC.
He was saying that when you do Coachella, like the artist does Coachella, they weren't able to do any other venues or anything outside of Coachella. Like that was pretty much it within a certain parameter or whatever. But he was so cool with the person who was doing Coachella that they were like, oh no, go ahead, they could do your show.
Yeah, do your own
That's
thing.
fine. Yeah. So he was.
That's
so
how cool
cool.
Murs is.
Yeah.
They just make business decisions off of his essence.
And another thing that was cool about him is that he said that when he was growing up, he never had anybody really look out for him. You know, he was kind of felt like he just kind of had to work it on his own. Whereas now he's kind of, you know, he's breaking that chain and he's looking out for others and trying to help others as well. Whereas before he didn't feel like he got that from West Coast. Cause he said like East Coast, you know, you always like get shout outs from Jay-Z. He'll shout out Talib, shout out Mos or whoever. But he goes, West Coast, we don't do that. Ice Cube's not shouting me out. You don't have a shout out from Snoop. And Snoop, he knew of all these, you know, little like freestyle groups and everything that was out here, all these venues. But you're not going to get no shout out from anybody.
No.
So he said that's what was different out here, is that he kind of really had to like, you know, just kind of figure that out, and he's breaking that chain, which was cool. The fact that he was with Living Legends is also a dope, you know, thing because, you know, that they were like seriously like really like pushing their stuff out, pushing their albums,
consistency.
You know, like, you know, unlike today, they were like just out there doing that. So that was also cool. And being a part of that whole movement out there, you know, that was dope. Living Legends has classic joints as well. They're all dope MCs. I don't know how to really equate their style, but like
Legendary status at all times.
Yeah, Bay Area.
Bay Area.
So looking at this cover, what are you guys thinking about the cover album?
You know, I didn't notice, like, okay, at first I thought it was just a plain shot of him out in the street, right, under the street light. And then I looked at it like a little bit, and I was like, why did I not see that before? There's like an apparition in the air. It's like a black cloud.
Where, in the black cloud?
Yeah, the black cloud right in front, in the middle, right dead in the center, and there's stuff inside of that blackness. It's like a little... Oh,
shoot, okay.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, maybe it's like the ghost of the streets or some shit.
The ghost of hip-hop
It
past.
looks like it's a candle lit in the center if you look at it.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck? And I
That
saw
is
it.
kinda crazy.
Yeah, I was like, and I kept looking at it, I was like, nah. I mean, it might just be the, if I'm looking at the angle wrong, it just looks like something like it's like a cloud or something, right?
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Am I seeing it wrong? How do y'all see it?
off the jump, the great tones and stuff, that gives me like a sense of like, this is going to be like more in depth, probably like an introspection kind of feel.
Well, the streets are alive, son. They live.
It's at the beginning of the journey, looks like, before it leads to that road.
Yeah. And then it looks like he's like thinking. So he's like pondering something, either
And
loss or heartbreak
like,
or something.
Maybe that is a manifestation of what he's thinking about. But I saw that like earlier. I was like, what the hell? Is that real?
It's his version of the thinking man, the statue.
Ooh, that was good. The calligraphy, that in itself is pretty dope.
Murs got style, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like classic, but I don't know if it gives me the feelings of like the writings you would have like in like, I don't know, like on a memorial service or something, even
Like Constitution.
or or something like that.
I like that.
The 316, I think that's a nod to, John 3:16, obviously. And that can also go into like, oh, you're talking about your personal, I don't know, growth or story or something like that, maybe.
Right. So what would it? I mean, if it's Murs 3:16, it's if for Murs so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Like, what is the?
I think it would be like kind of like the core, your like core message, I believe.
Okay.
Like, because out of the Bible, that's like kind of the core, message of that. So it would be like whatever his core message is.
I like that.
Coming out.
Or it could be, it could be for Stone Cold Steve Austin too. You guys forgot it. You guys forgot to ask if he's a wrestling fan.
We should have had that sound effect on here.
Just the glass breaking. Just the glass break. That'd be fire.
Yeah, either one, because everyone always used it after that point.
Yeah,
even Owen Hart, even Owen Hart did it. Owen Hart. Who else? Yeah, there's so many other wrestlers that did it too.
Yeah.
Why not Murs? Why not MC?
Why not Murs?
Yeah. So dope cover album. All right, so we got 3 tracks that we chose. This is the first one we chose.
Got a 316.
316
for the first one. Intro was dope. I just love first of all, flipping Daft Punk in that way was just excellent. I love great flips. I love great chops. So yeah, I had
it
to
really brings you in because it's like
God.
It's fast paced too. So it's like
let's go. Let's get the ball rolling. Great energy. I really enjoyed the intro, but I felt like 316 we all kind of agreed upon. Just started from there. And I just thought it's just great storytelling, man. I feel like in regards to how Murs assembles his songs, his goal is complete authenticity, right? I don't even think there's like a barrier in the way of how he writes. It almost sounds damn near freestyle, you know?
Yeah.
So I really do enjoy how authentic his sound is. Every bar is just pure authenticity dripping on the page.
And then Badman's also a classic joint. That track he plays with the sample itself, going Badman. He intertwines that with the hook, which is dope.
And playing off the samples always dope.
And then he's also doing the verse with it too, which is dope.
So I love that heavy.
Yeah, all of that sick. Then we land on to 316, which is going to be the first track that we're going to go into and break down.
Of course, great, back and forth between 9th and Murs, man. 9th and them, he just works really great with him, dude. He's so savvy, man. But yeah, so when I read these, man, don't take it personal. We're gonna read it, man. We're just gonna read the bars. I'm not trying to hurt your rapper. What up, though? I'm still giving a fuck. So open up your changer and get ready to dump those. Disc of the dudes that be sounding the same. They get up on TV steady clowning for fame, right? So he's just calling out these cats, man. I really feel like, I know the intro was the intro track, but I feel like 316 is very definitive. One of those, you know who it is type tracks, man.
Yep.
Disrespecting ancestors that was bound in them chains. So I feel like he's talking about his, our actual real ancestors, but thinking about the originators of hip hop as well. But I'm around in the game, so things is bound to change. I'm trying to walk that thin line between intelligence and ignorance. So he wants to be, to be highly intellectual as an MC, we might lose our people, right?
Also doubled up, bound in them chains. But in the game, chains. So things is bound to change.
Right.
Ooh, okay.
So got that.
That's dope.
Okay, I got you. I like that. Trying to walk that thin line between intelligence and ignorance. Have a little fun while making music of significance, right? What we hearing. A nemesis to niggas just bumping their gums. I give a fuck where you from. It's where your heart at, bitch. You gonna bite little doggy or just bark that shit? So you gonna talk that shit, right? Are you gonna do what you want to do? You gonna actually attack me or you just talking shit on the song? A slave to the rhythm, 9th spark that whip because my heart can't quit. I got something to say because these niggas want to act NWA, right? So they're making fun of NWA, but niggas with artillery is the secondary play on it. Niggas with artillery and nothing to spray because they ain't got no guns. just some non-right assholes with nothing to say, man, because they wrong. So when you hear it, man, some would suggest that Murs is like writing on a simplistic level. I really feel like he's trying to bridge super intelligent with super street. And that's, I really honestly, I feel like that's hard.
It leaves you forced in the middle ground.
It's hard.
Yeah.
That's because that's the Pac. That's why you get the Pac idea from, right?
Right.
He's really reminiscent of Pac and that whole, like, I'm telling you this shit straight up.
Any MC that wants to try to get lyrical would have taken significance and intelligence and ignorance, and they would have went multi on that.
Right.
Murs
Intelligence
saw
and
that.
ignorance, a better bit, a bit.
Murs saw that opportunity and still kept going with the rest of his, what I believe his true strength is that he just has vivid imagery and a storytelling.
And you could just watch it like a movie.
Yeah.
Watch it like a movie.
He totally takes that a pass. A lot of MCs would have bid on that bait and kept going.
Yeah. Correct.
So verse 2, I'm here.
And that's the thing. I think that's the highlight of Murs is that he has vivid storytelling. So even the descriptions, which you're hearing in the lyrics, like you can really picture that, and that goes for like some of these tracks we're going to cover down the line. Like you can see it the way he's describing it.
Yeah, I'm from where we leave and running. And we hop out of cars, jump out and beat you down in some new all-stars, right? So we go tear your ass up. I'm from the streets, son, from LA. No stars and stripes, just bars and pipes beating you down. And niggas just start shooting, they too hard to fight. I'm scarred for life and charge this mic with bars of fright.
I'll stop right here. With that line, no stars and stripes, just bars and pipes. He was discussing or saying
no justice.
Yeah, he was saying like no stars and stripes, meaning like his neighborhood isn't...
the American dream
isn't basically like white picket fence, whatever. It's more like barred up windows,
right?
Yeah, that's kind of what his neighborhood
gates,
looks like.
Windows, all
it's
that.
It's more like he's coming from that.
See, I love that. I love that shit. And niggas just start shooting. They too hard to fight. I'm scarred for life and charge this mic with bars of fright. Dare any one of you frauds to bite. I'm raw as life with loss of wife and cause of strife. Spitting sharp wit like I floss with knives, because he's spitting sharp, right? Not contrived or conceited on your radio, repeated. I'm elitist and I leave this red hot like Cletus. Oh, okay, they messed the lyric up. Cletus, yeah. Cletus gets mad, right, when he goes red in the face.
It's Red Hot, the leader of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Cletus, yeah.
Got you.
Which is a dope bar.
And then the Californication, yeah. So I'm a Californicator and a street narrator.
Yeah.
Steady running rappers down until they meet the maker. Concrete caretaker to weak imitators. They are screech to my Slater.
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Piece of beef to a Gator or Heat versus Lakers. I'm a speed to you later and let Night take me out with techniques and a fader, right? So you're going to chop him out. And then just the work that he did off the chorus, man, it's fucking brilliant.
So he's talking that he's taking his enemy into the equivalent of a game when he talks about the Heat versus Lakers. Because remember, Heat versus Lakers was a Genesis game. Yeah. That's why I was like, Heat versus Lakers. Like there was no rivalry at that time in the 08s. Unless they're talking about the. It could have been the Shaq-Kobe rivalry because this is where Shaq goes to Miami too.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Mr. Stats, baby.
Either one,
just
man.
knows. Just fucking knows.
Wait, hold on. Actually, this is 04, right?
It's 04.
So no.
Well,
this is the first year. This is gonna be the first year that Shaq does it.
03 was it after that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
look at all that depth, yo.
Yeah.
Look at all that hidden depth.
So I think that's the thing that we can probably say here is like, some of these bars have more depth than we think, maybe.
I'd argue that this is the most lyrical that Murs gets in this whole album.
Yeah.
Because you never have him going with I'm raw as life with loss of wife and cause of strife, spitting sharp like a floss with knives. Like he doesn't that's as lyrical as he gets. Because everything else
technical, like technical.
Yeah. And there's nothing else after that I've seen that where it's like, damn, like this. I know 316 as the one where it's like, damn, like Murs is spitting on this for sure.
But the skill though with Murs is that he is very versatile though. So like you throw any beat at this dude's gonna adapt to that beat. Like,
Yeah, of course.
That's something that's pretty, like, not every MC is able to do that.
But Murs doesn't
Yeah.
fill the bar with a bunch of information,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of rappers our days,
Oh.
they're gonna throw in like, you know, every 1, 2, 3, 4. So every 2 to
Yeah.
4th beat, they're
Yeah.
throwing in 4-syllable, 5-syllable rhymes.
Right.
Yeah.
And niggas, it's too many words.
Whereas
Too many sounds.
MCs have to build down their lyrics,
yeah.
all he has to do is be at his baseline and then just build up and fill in.
Tupac. That's what it's like, because there's so much space between the bars. It feels like pop.
Yeah.
So I'm from the home of Double K, nothing but trouble gang, KWSs, LTSs, and
Calling
OFAs,
out all his
all them situations.
tagger groups, all the tagger groups in that area.
and any other crew that used to rat cans and spray and mob the RUD before the MTA. So, you know, if y'all on that graffiti
And
shit.
that's the one thing I also want to highlight is that Murs is a guy that before rapping too was into like tagging, dancing, like, you know, all these other things before rap came. So, you know, if anything, you know, sometimes an MC, all they have in hip hop is maybe rapping, whereas he kind of embodies a lot of different aspects from tagging, from, you know, being in the street, whatever, dancing, like all aspects.
He embodies it, man. It's
Yeah.
all of it
Yeah.
in one place, man. He's a walking, breathing hip hop icon.
Yeah.
He does this shit, man. So don't hate what I say or talk down when I bust mine. Trying to make some green like Culver City bus line, because you know the bus line is
Yeah.
green. I'm unsigned and hype, dump mines on site. This living legend gang. What you punks rhyming like? I combine with 9th sickest with these beats. I mean, so sick like he's forgetting to eat, because you know 9th he's so nice. He makes beats for like ever, right?
Yeah.
A hard man to take down like Michael Vick on his feet. Oh, also, but the sick line is he's not eating because he's sick too, right?
Yeah.
But a hard man to take down like Michael Vick on his feet, and anybody chose me like they was thinking defeat. I'm spitting with this heat until I get my credit. I'm a verbal martial artist like I'm signed to Shady Records. So
sick.
martial artist, I thought great play, good association.
Marshall and Marshall
Martial
Matters.
artists, yeah.
Matters.
Even with unsigned and hype, there was a section of I think it was the Source that had unsigned hype. There was a magazine that, or like a hip hop magazine that had, I forget it, it's beyond me right now, but it was called Unsigned Hype.
Yeah,
So they actually had a portion of an independent artist. It's
they
cool
just
that
like
he's saying
talking.
I'm unsigned and hyped.
Yeah.
both at the same time.
Michael Vick was just a beast too.
Yeah.
One of the first quarterbacks to ever like be able to run the ball like and not be stopped.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
he's a pioneer in the modern. Who does that today? Like the quarterbacks. that do
He's
that
actually
today.
the embodiment of
Patrick
Pat
Mahomes,
Mahomes.
Like-
You have a lot of cats that are doing what he's doing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he around that, a lot of quarterbacks now are doing what they're doing now because of Michael Vick on
Right.
the
Started
scrambling
with,
tip.
with why am I forgetting his name right now? G.
Are you talking about like the first scrambling quarterback, like before Michael?
RG3.
Oh, okay,
RG3.
Robert Griffin III after
Yeah,
him.
he was
yeah.
one. Who else? Who else?
Oh,
was
there's
that?
yeah. So like even the first one in the very beginning is Randall Cunningham. He was a
Okay,
quarterback
okay,
for the
okay.
Philadelphia
Yeah.
Eagles.
Which, you know,
How did they know this?
The, so you have Patrick Mahomes. You have you also have Cam Newton.
the guy from the Seahawks who used to be on the quarterback of the Seahawks.
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson was
Yeah,
that.
Cam Newton though for sure. He was a scrambling quarterback, but he was big body.
Even Kaepernick was part of that too. Kaepernick was also part of that.
Yes, also as well.
Yeah. So Michael Vick is the pioneer. Like, you know, I don't
hard
know.
to take down like
if there
Michael
was
Vick on
somebody
his feet,
before him,
and anybody
but
chose me. They
before-
was thinking defeat. Okay.
Before that style, was anybody before Michael Vick?
Randall Cunningham did it a few, but he's going to be the first one that a lot of the black scrambling quarterback was Randall Cunningham from the
Oh,
fifth.
Cam
he was-
Newton also is another
Yeah.
quarterback known for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot that took after Michael Vick.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, and anybody. Where else were we at?
That's sports. No, I'm just
That's
No,
and you bitches best and you bitches best respected, or I will destroy you. Have your whole crew screaming out, "You're my boy, Blue." Right.
peace to
Old school bar.
School.
You know, you're my boy,
He
Blue.
was at the funeral, so
Yeah.
you know, he's saying that you're basically your boys or your crew's gonna be screaming out at your funeral.
Hey
you know?
man, old school was dope, man.
Yeah.
Old school was dope.
yeah, dude. They had like every
Shout out to Will.
2000s. Every 2000s guy, Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn,
Right.
Will Ferrell.
The whole pack.
Yeah, I saw Will Ferrell on Sunday.
Oh
No
yeah,
cap,
yeah, yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he was over at the Kings game, and I was literally getting ice cream, and he's like 2 bodies away from me on the buffet, and I'm like trying to keep it cool. It was dope.
He's
man.
just living his life being Will.
Yeah.
But you know he's Will Ferrell, and you just want to jump on his
dude,
shoulders.
He was super chill.
I do like this track a lot because, you know, the concept of it, you know, he's going back even to the bar where he was saying about disrespecting ancestors, like that you know,
I thought it was a double though. It's like ancestors as an African American man.
Yeah,
he's talking about blacks. He's talking about actual ancestors from where we came from, slavery, the chains connection, and then the ancestors also is a representation of the original hip hop dudes,
right. And
at
so
the very beginning.
I always tell you guys that I love when MCs, you know, fight kind of like for the good of like MCing, you know, where it's like, just get all this trash out of here. All the, you know, like MCs who are just completely ignorant, you know? And it's cool to have a balance though, or to be in that pocket where like, okay, yeah, you have some fun or whatever, but also keep it, you know, where we're not disrespecting, like, you know, this for what it is.
If you ran that filter through, there'd be no rappers. There'd be hardly any rappers on the mainstream there. Right. But it also plays into the point where Murs is actually still never losing sight and keeping persistent on his style.
Right.
Where he is constantly still working, and it's kind of like he has something to. He's doing it as he has nothing to lose, but he is in a position where he feels like he represents. He's representative of the people of his past generations.
Right. So I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah. He's the walking embodiment of them.
He hasn't like lost sight of like who he is or what he's doing here. Like he knows, you know, where he stands, which I think is pretty tight. So moving on to the second track, we're going on to The Pain.
The Pain. Yeah. Wait, where we start at?
Personally, this beat takes me back because, you know, I remember first hearing this beat, and that was, again, early 2000s. So I'm beat hunting at this point. It's all beats.
That plus the MySpace music. Anytime
MySpace
a hip hop head was like going through a breakup, they used The Pain, bro. They used The Pain instrumental. Don't deny yourself either.
But such a classic from Ninth Wonder, man. And I remember
I thought of all the sad songs.
There was a time where
literally The Pain.
There was a time where it was just a random day. I'm chilling, playing basketball with the homies, Hector actually. And Jaime, actually, both of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing with both of them, and after the game, they wanted to, you know, smoke or whatever, smoking a blunt. And then Jaime lived right across the street, so he had a whole recording studio in his room, and he's like, "Yo, let's record a track." And so I'm like, "All right." So we're making a whole day of this now.
Yeah.
So we go across the street. He starts playing this beat. The pain of finding in the night, and I'd like to go out in the rain. And it was kind of gloomy day too, so it was
just perfect.
Yeah, it was
like,
kind
oh
of
man,
the clouds just start piling up just to accommate the instrumental.
Stupid thunder, a little thunder in the background.
We're just right there writing, dude. It was like probably 4 of us there. We're writing. And I remember that. So I started
and
recording.
they all cried.
We were sore and in pain after basketball.
But when this beat came on, man, it just like the hairs on my like arm stood up because I was just like, damn, this beat is sick. This beat is sick. And just one of those days like I'll never remember, like I'll never forget.
Super, I'll never remember that day again. I constantly try to remember that day.
I'll never forget that, man, because so this is why like this beat, even on top of just already being a great track, is like it's just even more memorable.
You want to do the lyrics?
Telling you that marketing, man. Everyone
that's what I'm
got
saying.
A taste of it, bro.
He was another level,
Kept
man.
it independent too. Definitive Jux. So with The Rain, you have see, I'm a single black male, dark hair, dark eyes, long walks through a park, and a lot of them lies. I'm a little bit jaded by a lot of what I see. So if you're still interested, you should come get at me. So I like the beginning of this, man. Descriptive. You get his description of him,
and what
but you also get
into.
the idea of like, hey, man, I'm jaded of all this stuff, what's going on. So continuing on, because I'm tired of getting shot down, put down, and dissed. I want to be picked up, held tight, and kissed.
LL Cool J shit, man.
Yeah.
But things like this don't happen to dudes like me because I'm more Coldplay than I am Ice-T.
All right, so I thought Coldplay was like, he's okay. okay, Coldplay the band, right? White,
Right,
Ice-T is black. So
Right,
Coldplay is a white band, which is not as street as Ice-T,
Right.
but they're both plays on cold. So Coldplay and Ice-T. So I it's like I'm more Coldplay than I am Ice-T. I don't know what the associations are for that, but I know they're both ice.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about though.
Yeah, I would
Because he's a cold-hearted dude. We get it. You know,
Right,
he can't love.
cold-hearted,
Right.
I think it's just the
Whole-
contrast
I would
Of white
say,
and
like-
black. The contrast of white and black.
of how.
I can't picture Murs being like the white, like white as Coldplay.
Well, because see, but this is the
I feel like he's saying like he's almost more like kind of bitter, almost like cold,
Well,
bitter. But then tea, tea is like something you'll have. I don't know on a.
Well, you're thinking of being as hard as Ice-T is, like
Right.
on the mic,
Right,
or even
right.
with his lady Coco, like he doesn't play that crap. Coldplay, look at their track listings.
right.
They're not.
Yeah, it's more like heartbrokenness, kind of like gloomy. Like
Yeah.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
So this is
Okay, that
kind of
makes
like
more
a
sense.
this is
I
like
like
a
that.
blue pill kind of song. You know what I mean? But it's like, but it happens. It happens to the best of it. This is like post breakup. This is all post breakup stuff. This is stuff that most guys
Yeah.
go through, especially guys that play the field.
the thing that's really difficult about this is the vulnerability. Actually, as an
Yeah,
MC,
as a
good
video
to get
point, dude.
vulnerable is really tough.
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
Because you got to sound like you're not like a, for lack of better
I mean, the
terms,
line
a
alone,
pussy,
I want to
you
be
know what I mean?
picked up, held tight, and kissed is kind of hard.
Hey yo,
Pause.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to rap that bar.
Right.
Seriously.
Seriously,
You know,
yeah.
but they say that good girls love bad guys, and that might be, but a bad girl with a good guy, that's unlikely.
Yeah.
So I feel like that goes back to the Coldplay thing. Like maybe he might be a good guy.
He pulls it off pretty well though, like where it's like you don't get caught up like, yo, dude, like like where you get vulnerable and people are like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that on this track. It feels more like, okay, like there's no times where you're like kind of like, oh man, he went a little too open here.
Yeah, this is a position where either sex won't find this appealing because it's like, in the privacy amongst men, you can get, you could, vent and etc. But even chicks don't like this, bro. So it's kind of like a, so because he even goes into, it's like, so what's a man got to do to hold hands with you? Do I talk shit and stand and look hard with my crew? That's what you gotta do, actually.
That's what you have to do. You do have to do that.
I don't know what to do, so I drown in my drink. It helps to numb the pain because when I sit and think about it, eyes get clouded, thoughts get crowded, thoughts get clouded. So I'm gonna sit here, wait for you to talk about it, and come on.
Yeah.
Says she had and then the second verse, right? Yeah. And then we play off of she says she had a boyfriend just trying to be nice, but I've heard the same lines from different women all night. Too easy let down, but don't let it get you down. Shit, that's what my boys told me. But at the end of the night, I was still sitting lonely if I could only find him. Without all the drama, without the one-liners. Excuse me, miss. Hey, ma'am, you got a man? What's your name? I'm in my mid-20s, so enough with the games. Simply put, I think you're stunning, and what about some kids, a couple dogs, a couple cars, a 4-bedroom crib. So he's just already trying to, he's trying to quarter to the max, man.
Right.
Look, I'm not trying to jib. I'm just speaking from the heart, but we can start with a drink if you want to play it smart. She looking at my boy who got 2 kids at home, and I know how it goes. Here's his number, telephone. So he didn't even get
So
it.
she's looking
She
at
wants
his
him.
boy. Yeah.
He got 2 kids though. I'm actually free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it says right here he does the girls' turf, which is saying like he kind of like disrespects girls, and so like you want this guy that actually is disrespectful to girls. Then
I know how it goes. Here's a number, telephone, and he does the girls dirty, and I know you're smelling on him. He's dirty. He does the girls dirty. I know you're smelling on him. But every bitch needs a dog, so I guess that's why you want him. I try to settle, but even flirting got me shook. Man, so basically it's just, I need love, but it ain't working. Right? It's like it's like a miserable I need love almost.
Yeah.
Super harping on it. But again, this is, I can imagine writing this at just a very honest approach, like a very honest point.
It's very genuine. Like there's a lot of truth in here, what he's saying, like, which is like, that's the thing that I think works to his advantage when he gets real with you.
It's
Like,
just emotional.
A gentleman like him with his strength in storytelling makes this more intense too.
right, yeah.
I try to be subtle, but even flirting got me shook. I would never get a smile. All I got was dirty looks. And my self-esteem is low enough. I got teased growing up. And what I do, I beat them up. But that's only made me tough.
Despite his, when they call him out on an emotional level, he beats their ass.
It didn't get me girls or notes in class. Same girls used to tell me when I'd pinch their ass. But if another boy did it, then they would get gritty. So I pretended the handball was their face when I hit it.
Damn.
And
how hard you hit a handball?
And I admit it. It's part of the reason why I do them like I do. And women in my life, there's only been two. My mother being one, and the other one is done. So my philosophy on dating, it ain't no fun. Because they come and go, and even if they don't come, they still have to go. Girl, I give the best head, but you just wouldn't know because you stuck up as what?
And Sadiddy. Stuck up as Sadiddy.
But even if you diss me, I ain't mad. Go on, do that.
With your pretty ass.
Do that, yo, with your pretty ass. You look better coming. No, wait. You look better going than you did coming. Her ass is amazing. High five for Jesus. Keep making them like that.
Like a bit.
Just make them with the half a brain so that maybe they'll talk to me.
Last line is hilarious. I'm sorry, Murs, man. It's sad shit, bro. The pain. The pain. The pain.
Yeah,
I
can't even feel the pain.
I was talking about my mom about this today too. Not this whole not Murs' song. But,
that's what I
dude.
thought.
I was like, my mom. It was her birthday this weekend. So we celebrated it, and she ends up telling us, like, all of us in the group feed, all me and my brothers. She tells us she loves us and stuff, and like, I just told her like, I love you too, and The thing about mom's love is that it's the only love that you'll get that's unconditional. In order for you to get a love from a significant other is based on a lot of conditions. But let's go on to the next song. But just but I'll say those conditions.
Zooming in on Mark.
Right. It's close zoom.
Yeah, I'll just say that the conditions play a lot into this song.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I mean, Murs talks about it. I saw an interview. Murs talks a bit about it too. He talks about like how his mom's like, no matter what he does, she's gonna always be proud of him, But even if he does wrong, she's still gonna love him. Like that's bottom line. Like there's still gonna be that no matter what.
Yeah. And now we also got the evidence that this is post his previous relationship. He's like one's here, and the other one is done.
Right.
So.
But I mean, sometimes it'd be cold like that, you know what I mean? Like, so it's cool that like he adapted to this beat in a way, and like, because that's what Jay-Z talks about. You hear the track, you hear the beat. What is the beat trying to tell you?
Yeah, listen to the beat.
And
dude, that's a good point. Yeah. Dude, I like that. What does the beat tell you?
Yeah,
dude, that's sick.
And he wrote, this dude put together what the track was trying to say. But what's cool about this too is like, this is only one aspect, I guess, to Murs, because on the other hand, there's other tracks in here where he's talking about being like kind of like a dog in a way.
Yeah, but it's
so
to me, it's this
different sides to it.
It's representation of street demeanor, you know, and he's an intelligent dude, and I'm not saying he's performing. He's very, like I said, he's very real. He's authentic. Right. But I feel like he has the intelligence and the capacity to write way up here, but it's not his thing. I don't think that, and that's not, no disrespect. I really mean that. It's like he skates a certain kind of way. You want him to jump down 10 stairs and do kickflips down 10 stairs. Murs is just chilling at the skate park, basic ramps, but he's killing them. Yeah. All right. That's what it looks like. It's like a skater that almost is meditative in essence. Mm-hmm. And what he does on the beat, to me, like I said, it's that Pac essence where it's just, I'm not overloading the bar with words. You don't have to, it's a Dick Gregory joke. He's like, explain it to my grandmother. Right. So if you can't spit these bars to his grandmother, then you didn't get your message across. Right. So I feel like I could play this for a grandmother, and she's like, oh, I know about that nigga on Crenshaw. So I do feel like that's how Murs put this together, which is inspiring, man. It's not easy to do this.
I think of Pac too, because Pac is so contradictory sometimes, and I don't like to use the word contradictory, but I'm just going to use that for lack of better terms. But one moment he can create a track like "Keep Your Head Up," and the next he can make a track like "I Get Around." It's like
in the same project.
Truth. Yes, it's just two different things that I think is just in human human life, sometimes there's things about us that are contradictory. Like, you might see a very religious person, but yet they admit sometimes they've had bad thoughts. And, so I mean, it's just life, really what it is. So this doesn't mean that that's just, he always gets shut down every time. This is just a track that, and one, he captured, a feeling or a moment in a track, There might be another track where he's a player, so it's just...
he puts on different hats per track.
Right.
And I appreciate that. It's not the same story over and over.
Right.
It's actually a diverse... It's like a TV series, and it's like listening to The Wire, if you will. Just, pieces of the puzzle coming together.
It proves to the variety of this album and what has made this album stand up as a West Coast classic.
Yep. All right, so we're moving on to Walk Like a Man. And Walk Like a Man is special because... that's where we have the beat change-ups going on. We have
first of all, the 3 beat changes, and remember, this was like, I don't know, beat changes are like a thing now, right? People do beat changes. So to me, this was like, man, I don't remember how many times I've seen, Murs in this situation where it's like, each verse was a different scenario in the same song. The next version of this you'll see in Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." Right, or Damn, I think it's on Damn. It's the last song, Buckmouth or Duckmouth, I forgot. Duckworth, on Damn. There you go. So 9th did the same thing. Per part of the story, he transitions into a new beat. But here's the hard part about doing beat transitions. You have to make the next beat either better than the last one, or you have to make it equally interesting. Right. That's not easy. To go from super beat to whack beat to super beat is kind of crazy.
And plus to keep the lyrics consistent too, to the idea of the general track.
So this song in particular, I felt like it was 3 whole experiences connected. Yeah. And that's why I like this one. It feels like 3 songs in one song.
Yeah, it does.
It's fucking great, man.
Who came first in this instance? Did Murs have the verses first and 9th adapted the beats to Murs' tone? Or was it the other way around where 9th had the beats and then Murs adapted to each of those tones? Because there's obviously, like when he talks about death, there's like a choir angelic sound. So there's adaptations happening.
This is the MC producer chicken and the egg argument.
Yeah. I think what happened was 9th gave him a series of beats, and then Murs picked his favorites. And so I like this one, and this one. I want these 3 on the same song. And then Murs put it in himself and then wrote it. That's what I think happened. And then 9th polished everything after. That's what I think happened. Because the way the song is structured, it feels like 3 vignetted experiences that are in one place.
Yeah, kind of like a Crash, the movie Crash, where there's like 3 things happening, but they all tie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Murs is running the triangle offense on the track.
Stupid. So for the first beat, I like the first beat. The second beat, to me, I was like, I keep coming back for the second beat. For the first one though, the first one, let's talk on the perspective. It's just some dude with a gun on the street, right? And I'm not sure that this is the guy that shot his homie in the next verse. So if y'all know, all right,
he's on the street ready to take some licks.
But he's
So now I used to walk with a gun, now I walk like a man. And I walk what I talk, and I walk never ran, right? Hardcore dude. And I never say never, but I mean hardly ever. And if shooting is the solution, then you're not that clever, right?
So didn't this give like Dr. Seuss vibes right now? It was like, now I used to walk with a gun, now I walk like a man, and I walk when I talk, and I talk when I ran.
And I never say never, but I mean hardly ever. And if shooting is the solution, then you're not that clever, right?
Yeah.
There's some Seuss in there. Seuss is inspired, huh?
Some Seussisms. It's soothing.
If you don't know shit, then you still know better. So I guess he's saying he's against shooting, right?
Yeah.
Human life is so precious it could never be measured. Have you ever had a load of it, cock back the heat, popping on the next nigga while walking up the street, trigger off safety, spacing in an opportunity? These niggas want to waste me, ain't nothing new to me, right? He lives on the streets. Soon as he walked by, I was ready to bust. All right, so here's the thing. He said he don't fuck with guns, right?
Right.
But now here we are. As soon as he walked by, I was ready to bust. Pause. But he just posted up like he was waiting on the bus, right? So he's paranoid, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm all punked up with a steroid trigger, right? He's scared.
Right.
Because most of y'all are easy, just some paranoid niggas. Used to walk with a gun, but I never use it. What's the point of holding heat if you ain't gonna shoot it, stupid? So I feel like this story, I don't know if just the idea of a man with a gun, it could be that easy to take action on somebody, right? Just because you got a gun on you.
Right.
So I feel like this dude isn't affiliated with the next verse because he went up to a bus stop, right? So the next one, he's gonna be talking to his homie, and we'll cover that.
Yeah.
And somebody gets shot. So I don't know where if the first one is connected to this one. So y'all let me know in the comments. It was a late night sunset, me and him out looking at the ladies to come up on some trim, trying to get some pussy. Right. Everybody wilding out because the summer's about to end, so they partying at the end.
It's the way it's so descriptive, man. It's
right.
dope.
It's like you can watch it like a movie, like a Snoop song.
Yeah, even in the first verse, you feel like you're passenger on this uncomfortable situation, seeing him with the gun.
Yeah. Everybody's wilding out because the summer's about to end. He had the hypnotic. He was missing with the hand. Hypnotic. That's a Mandela effect. Hypnotic is not spelled that way. They spell hypnotic HPNOTIQ. That is wrong. Anyway, of that mean green laid back with the deep lean on low pro shit. Right. So they just chilling.
That's low.
They call that.
Good Lord.
I guess they're saying that they call that mix of hypnotic and hen Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
That's why the mean green.
That's how we rolled up on the scene. They was just lit. Two girls looking probably in their late teens. So I don't know what the scene is. The scene is not the bus stop.
Yeah.
But these days you can't tell, but I figured what the hell. So we yell out, hey girl, they yell back. Maybe two in the front, maybe two in the back. But they had this dark tag, couldn't see through the black. We roll up, ask where they party at. They just started to laugh and I knew it was a trap, right? Because it just felt wrong, right? But I couldn't roll out because the strip was so packed. Now I'm looking at this nigga in his motherfucking hat. So I don't know who the guy in the hat is. Anyway, just some street shit. Start talking that bullshit like he was on some bullshit. So the version I have on this album, they muted motherfucking and they muted bullshit twice. I don't know why. Okay. But everything after that, they allowed him to cuss. So I don't know if it was on some B shit, like they muted out the B word, like bloods or something like that.
Here it has annotated blood.
Yeah, so I think it's some blood shit because he says start talking that and it goes blank. Like we was on some and it goes blank. So
it has annotated as a red hat too, red and white hat or something.
Okay, I got you. My nigga used to hang. Oh yeah, my nigga used to bang, but we ain't know no thug shit. We ain't know no thug shit. I tried to dismantle it, but you know Los Angeles. This nigga kept talking, so my boy had to handle it. He jumped out the leg, snatched the dude at his hat. So they're not at the bus stop. This is a different event.
Right.
I put it in park, jumped out to get his back, but as I did that, I heard two shots. I turned to my right and I see my dude drop. Time stop. Couldn't believe what I seen. I was struck by reality when the two girls screamed, the two chicks they was hollering at. Dude, I saw his killer stand up with the gun in his jeans, saw him wince from the pain as the heat burned his waist, his homeboy. Then he turned up the block, disappeared without a trace. I remember his face, but what I remember most was when I got my knees and I held my nigga close as his friend is dying. And he asked not to leave us in the name of Christ Jesus. But he's gone, and all I got left is his blood on my sneakers, right? So just LA story that went wrong.
Sweet callback to the chick screaming to add more description of what
they saw it too.
Dude, I don't know if I don't know a better example of that kind of callback.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So and then
this next one though, it sounds to me like this event could have really happened to him. Like he could have been on the scene.
I think it
sounds in the Los Angeles universe. It's probably happened a couple times.
It's like wrestling. I felt it was real. So it was real to me. Damn it. It was okay. So the third verse, now the second verse and the third verse are connected. So I don't know the connection of the first to these. That guy might have been the one with the gun that shot his homeboy. I'm thinking that the guy that shot his homeboy was the same person in the first verse. I'm not sure though. All right, so it was a year to this day that my best friend died. For weeks I sat alone in my room and cried, and I tried to pretend everything was fine, but my soul couldn't rest until vengeance was mine, right? So we got a hook, and it bridges into verse 3, right? Yeah. So the day began with me standing at his grave with his mother, my old girlfriend, his two younger brothers.
The track Lucifer from Jay-Z, when he's like, he's on a vengeance path for his friend, you know, kind of.
So his old girlfriend, his two younger brothers. We said a few words, faces covered with tears. Now how we missed him so much and we wish he was here. Then his girl said a poem, put some roses on the stone, and we said our goodbyes and they all went home. I thought I'd use this time for me and him to be alone. I broke out the hen, poured a little out for him because he, sipping with his boy. Told him who was getting married, who had went to the pen, right? So who's still here, who's dead, who's in pen, talking to him like it's a conversation, how the homie named his newborn son after him. But as the sun went down and the talk came to an end. Okay, so this is a metaphor. The sun went down, right? Meaning that positive disposition about this went away. But as the sun went down, the talk came to an end. So I said a quick prayer, amen. And I shook in the lab plus the well-wrote tracks and I headed up and saw my homie Isaiah. That's my boy. I asked him about that's hip hop. I asked him what he was doing. I asked him what he doing. He was way out of bound. That he had a freak that lived on that side of town. He always kept the heat. So out of bounds is when you in the wrong hood. Yeah. He always kept the heat just in case it went down. A clown. I rolled down by the window about to light a cigarette. Hey, is that like right about to smoke? Hey, is that the nigga that? Hey, give me the motherfucking gun, man. Drive around the block and post up for a minute. His whole demeanor changes, delivery and everything. I hit you in the shirt. I hit you in the shirt. Hit the corner, nigga, chirp. Bend it.
The chirp.
I hit you in the chirp. It says shirt on mine. It says shirt on my shirt.
Little
I hit
dated,
you in the chirp.
dated.
Hit the corner, nigga, bend it. Splendid. Now with the vengeance in my grasp, his gun, I couldn't dream of a better day for me to catch his ass. Slipping while he dipping in the ride by himself. I slid up behind him in the shadows, hella stealth. He started to breaking stuff. I said I didn't want a dime. He's trying to give him some. Remember what you was doing last year around this time? Kinda he looked into my eyes with both shock and surprise. Exactly.
Yeah.
You remember me? When I split his face with the Glock right before he could reply, he cried as I pressed the heat against his cheek. I squoze 2 times from my homie. Rest in peace.
Peace to Murs for using splendid.
Peace to Murs for using squoze. He squoze on that nigga.
Hit the squoze. Splendid. Now with vengeance in my grasp.
And then immediately ignorantly says squoze. I love it. He squoze on him 2 times.
Yeah, for that first instance,
this is a haunting story, by the way. We're not laughing. It's not a joke.
Yeah. Like, in the beginning, I don't know if it does connect. I'm trying to connect it, but I don't see the connection.
Because maybe that first guy eventually ends up with them. That might be it. Because I just don't feel like this first verse will be for no reason. What the power of having a gun is what he wanted to talk about.
I think it's going to be the aftermath of what he does in the third verse. Now he's with his gun. Being ready to press somebody at a moment's notice because he's
tenant shit start at the
or
beginning.
You could take it as like a classic foreshadow, like how a book would be. You know, it's like there's a little example
because the dude was paranoid already, right? So in the first verse, the guy was paranoid just from standing next to someone. He was already paranoid. So maybe it was that same guy that shot his homie later. So that's what I think it is. But overall, it's a tragic story. It is honest. It's a real story. Yeah. It's happened. You know what I'm saying? So shit is real. With a good example that you brought up being the movie Crash, where it all seems related. Three different verses, 3 different stories, 3 different perspectives. Yeah. One genius at the helm being extra vivid in his storytelling. Yeah. It's like watching a movie.
Yeah.
Directed by Murs.
Murs Vision.
Walk Like a Man, the movie. The movie. Part 1. Verse 1 is part 1.
Part 1. But like Power, like 50 Show.
That's funny. It runs the whole season.
Another descriptive track is Trevor and Them. That one's a very like vivid,
short
imagery.
And sweet, short too, man.
And that one too. That one's like you feel like you're there, dude.
Feel like it happened.
I stand on the soapbox and say that not a lot of people. If any, were doing it as well as Murs was from 04 to 08. That was on the West Coast. That was a hot streak.
Yeah, I like the reference to Juice too that he throws in there as well when he says like, kind of like when Q ran into that bar and then like he runs into the guy he knows and he's like, hey, "You want in on this?" And he's like, "No, I'm good." He lets him go.
Yeah,
like I like that reference too. That was pretty dope. But yeah, like I mean. What I get out of Murs, just from this work that he's done here, is that he has a skill at storytelling for sure. Like it's just so good,
it's so real,
so visceral. So good. That and also he's able to really like bring out the track, like whatever beat you're tossing at him. Like I feel like he has a skill of listening to that and bringing that out, and I feel like he is able to adapt well. But I don't really listen to him for all the fancy tricks or nothing like that. You're gonna just get, you're just gonna get realism, and just
this ain't a fancy breakfast. This is steak and eggs.
Yeah.
This ain't no omelet. This ain't eggs Benedict. Right. This is some steak, good old American steak and eggs, baby.
Yeah.
A little cheese.
And it's and it's I guess for a person that doesn't want to like. There's some tracks that will be like maybe too gangster for people, but it's like it's gangster, but it's not like
hear a person going,
gangster,
"This is beyond my threshold of gangster. Turn it off.
It's
too gangster."
We can't we can't dismiss the fact that he's still die hard to his roots.
Yeah.
You know, and what is a storyteller best at? Telling the stories that are around him.
Right.
You know, you're only a product of your environment. And if you try to deviate from knowing what's best, an example would be trying to storytell outside of your environment. It'll be an exposed weakness eventually. You know, you can't fake it till you make it on some like being an MC with a different type of style than what you're really used to. You know, I like bringing up this example, but we needed an answer to West Coast hip hop around this time, because it was a shift back to the East Coast for a little bit, and we didn't really have a definitive answer on the solo effort. We did have our groups,
Yeah.
but on the solo effort, I feel this is where Murs on the West Coast, and even if we're going to put another magnifying glass on top of it, West Coast, Los Angeles hip hop.
You know what's interesting about Murs, you know, that he talks about? He was saying like that his fan base, he noticed, and he even mentions it, I think in one of these tracks, where like he noticed like his own people, like there was a decrease in his fan base where it was like more like in the front row, there was more like just white dudes, like,
It's
you know what I mean? Like,
dude,
Reptilians? I don't know what you was gonna say. I was just like ghosts. Like it's just ghosts.
Hey.
Oh,
think of the different timelines. Think of the different timelines where I do say that though, like reptilians. Reptilians are in the front row.
vibing though.
Yeah.
all fully unmorphed, just like straight Animorph style.
Looking like scrolls and shit.
I feel like InfoWars for a second. My voice is also out too. Like reptilians from the front.
Dog, you're not lying, man. Like, okay,
I'm
so
just picturing all the different timelines where I said something with frogs were in the front.
realms,
Kangaroos watching.
It's just
Republican kangaroos. We've been to several concerts in the last like couple months,
Yeah.
and I'd say that it was predominantly Hispanics. Granted, we were in Garden Grove, but I mean, you still have an artist that you need to go to watch. So I don't think the region is that is going to be that much of importance. But for Jizza, a bunch of Mexicans there. There's a bunch of Mexicans in the crowds. Very few African Americans, and then you have you have a few and far between of the Caucasoids.
The mountain boys.
Mountain boys.
Mountain boys.
Peace to Jim Carrey in a Star Trek parody. That's where he got Caucasoids from. David Alan Grier actually said it. But you did it. With Jizza, with Master Ace. We didn't really see a lot of brothers in the crowd either. It was like, I would say 70-30. Even if we were just going to count the 70 as being Hispanics and whites, you know?
Yeah.
was that though because we were in the OC though? It's like
See,
we're in Orange
but that's
County.
what I'm saying. The layer is that I don't think that plays a big factor.
Yeah.
I don't,
even
because
at
the
Yamava,
artist, because
like even at Yamava, there's like a population of Hispanics and whites still. Like so, it's.
Oh, you know what? At the Wu-Tang Clan concert, though, our perspective was a little
but
different.
for
'cause,
Murs-
like, it was
Murs-
seating like this.
But he's also been known to work with like, with like white artists like Slug,
Yeah.
from Atmosphere, and also some members from even Living Legends. I think Grouch, I think was the main one. So some other members, but it's just funny because I saw an interview where he talks about that, like where he kind of noticed that, but he's like, I'm fine as long as I'm getting paid, like I'm good, like it, But it's funny because he did mention a little bit about that, I think, and This Is For track number 9.
Yeah,
he mentions that a bit, and talks a little bit to that. But I think what's cool about him is that he knows who he is, though he's like never kind of lost his way. And I think he's really about his people. I feel like he's kept it pretty true, like on his everything he's spinning, which I can't hate on. Like if it's true, like
right.
you don't always have to do all the tricks for me. Like if it's genuine and like dude is spitting something for real, like that to me is dope. You know, so like to me, it's like that's what I get when I listen to this album here. Is like I just feel like it's just being him.
Yeah, he's
That's
a vibe, man. Murs is definitely a vibe, and I mean his work is always gonna touch you, man. Pause.
Yeah,
but it's really authentic music, man.
Would you guys agree that it's not a definitive style either? That there's actually a lot of variety within Murs as a lyricist.
Murs knows what he's doing, artist. And I think especially like I said, Iliad is Dead. It's another Ninth Wonder project from 2019, and he's better than ever. Right, Murs is still doing what he does. It feels like this on an escalated to. It feels more refined, more clean. Ninth has an understanding of beats on a new level. Murs has an understanding of his style on another level. The technique turns up very small, but the storytelling is still prominent, man. He's still killing it. So that's all due respect to Murs too. Like he's really inspirational on every level. Yeah. Like on some real nigga shit. Like you have to watch him as an artist and go, wow, he did that on his own. So that's how you have to look at him.
Final takeaways. I'll leave it open to any one of us.
I think I did mine, man. This album's significant, man. It's significant. And then I think Murray's Revenge is just right after, just jump up to that. That's
yeah.
And then Murs for President, I just thought was really fun. So, and then keep going though. Don't stop there.
He has a lot of
fucking projects, but just listen to him, man. It's the vibe, man. He's an excellent vibe. It's authentic, man.
Yeah. Real cool MC. So I guess we'll leave it on there. We'll leave room for other works that we'll get into on his stuff.
For the other works.
Yeah. So before we leave, we want to just mention a few plugs that we have going on. Mark, go ahead. Drop a plug for yours.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, what is? Hold on 1 second. Off camera. We just released the Dreamcast controller pin.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm gonna have this debuting at LA Comic-Con this weekend. This weekend being the first week of December in the year of our Lord 2023. The ill-fated Dreamcast. I wanted to make sure that we had the controller representing that console.
One of the best consoles.
Sega,
most ahead of a time.
Sega, you should have had a DVD player with this bad boy.
Was that the first console that connected to the internet?
One of the first consoles to connect to the internet. One of the first consoles to have a shareable memory card unit. One of the first consoles to have, I think, like a new control scheme.
And one of the easiest consoles to hack.
Yeah.
And to burn the games. Needed a DVD player. I promise you, if it had one, it would have stayed. It would have stayed the course. But no, I think the Dreamcast controller had one of the most unique designs. I'm going to be dropping this very soon, so stay tuned to our social media posts on Instagram at elnotoriouspin. And then you could follow suit to the website, thenotoriouspin.com. I also want to extend a thanks to our subscribers, whoever participated in the Black Friday sale. I appreciate you guys. It all goes to a good cause. The Mark Flores Needs the Tesla Foundation is going strong. And I thank you guys and I hope that each pin that I gave you met your satisfaction.
Nice.
That you were fully satisfied.
I want to make sure you're satisfied.
Shout out to the Mark Needs a Tesla Foundation.
And then, of course, we have Lyricology 101.
Lyricology 101, man. Check out them breakdowns. The easiest breakdown you can find is my MF Doom breakdown. I break down accordion. It's one of the most popular ones right now. All these are re-uploads after losing the channel. Lupe Fiasco's Mural. Check that one out. Eminem's Renegade. Joey Badass. A lot of these breakdowns are very thorough. I'm covering rhymes. I'm doing everything, man. So if you guys are interested, check this shit out. You will enjoy it, I assure you. All right, more's coming. Got an Eminem breakdown. I always got an Eminem breakdown. There's always going to be an Eminem breakdown. So see you guys soon. Lyricology 101. I'm there. Look for the breakdowns. It's easier to find me that way.
Sick. Before we leave, also too, don't forget to like, subscribe, find us on all platforms that you're listening on for podcast. And we appreciate all the engagement. All that is super cool. Like, we're taking even recommendations or suggestions for different albums you'd like us to cover. So we want to thank you guys for that. Go ahead, Mark. Drop it.
To the MCs, if you drop a mic, drop a like. Like, seriously, drop likes, because the viewership to the like ratio is way off.
The
we're
algorithm's
trying to-
like,
we're trying to get
yeah.
it
We don't like ninja watchers, bro. Like
get
there's
it up.
literally 328 of you guys watching, and we have single-digit likes. That does not compute. And again, if you're one of my homies, and if you're anyone, if you're Andre's homie, if you're Isaiah's homie,
We're holding receipts.
dog, don't come to the cypher.
We at your door.
Right.
You drop a like, man. It helps out the algorithms. It helps reach out to other people who like hip hop.
It helps us
You need
exist.
to tweak the algorithms, man.
Yeah.
You know, Murs was right, man. It be your own people sometimes.
Right.